Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the vastness of the universe. I'm Rocken Locken with Pleiadian Talk. I'm here today with a special broadcast. My co-host of Cosmic Awakening, Michelle Walling, is here with me, and we're going to talk about a few serious issues that are on Michelle's mind and that have been on my mind as well. And basically, we want to know the question, have we failed our mission? And Michelle, thank you so much for coming on. I know this was short notice. We just put this together, but I know that it's really important, and you especially have some things that you want to get out there to our listeners.
Hey, Larry. Yeah, thank you so much for putting this together in such short notice. I'm really looking forward to our show tomorrow. But you know, we only have 3 hours tomorrow, and
Yeah, exactly.
and out of all fairness to our guest tomorrow, um, Joshua Poet, I didn't want to spring this on him, so I really appreciate you putting this together. I had some thoughts today, and after speaking with my partner Greg for a couple of hours on the phone about some things that have happened that are just pointing, we're just being guided to seeing these answers and to uncovering things. I just really wanted to share this with listeners, and I wanted to talk about it while it was fresh in my mind. Because you know how we humans are, we can, gosh, if we don't get it out or write it down, we can forget. So.
Oh, yeah, really quick like. And usually, I'm not the type to write it down, so I'm glad that we're doing this right now. And let's get going. And
Okay.
so what's on your mind? What's on your mind, partner?
I'm just going to take the reins here and talk.
Okay.
Basically, when a person is on the right spiritual path, their guides will work with them as hard as they can to bring forth the clues so you can start putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And synchronicities will be your confirmation that you're either on the right path, or they'll start leading you to what you really need to focus on. My life is full of synchronicities, and I know Greg's is too. Greg met a lady at the dog park in Florida, and about, I don't know, don't quote me, a couple months ago, wherever he goes, he tries to talk to people. He'll soft sell them at first about spirituality, metaphysics, just kind of put some feelers out there to see, if who's awake and who's not. And this one lady, this Russian lady, I'm sorry, I'm not going to, say her name. Hopefully we'll be hearing from her very soon on our radio show. I will contact her and see if she'd like to come on. She started talking to him, and they got into a conversation a couple months ago that when she did see beings when she was a child, and it scared her. And out of free will, she told them to go away. And they have, she's lived her life for however many years, 20, 30 years, I don't know. And Greg talked to her a while back, maybe a couple weeks, and said, have you ever thought, she woke up, and Greg said, well, have you ever thought about asking them to go ahead and communicate with you, that you're ready now? And she said, yeah. And he said, well, you probably should do that. And so she did, and they gave her a very important message, and it was a very urgent message, and it really got me thinking today. And the message to her was two parts. The first part was she was failing her mission that she came here to do. She's not from this planet, and she's always felt like she hasn't been from this planet. But she came to this planet on a mission to help wake people up about religion, and about how religion is controlling humanity, and how it's one of the hardest things that people are going to have to wake up to, because they really feel like that's their only salvation in such a dark place. And the irony and paradox is just unbelievable about about religion. And the second part is that they were saying that there might be a possibility, unless some things really start changing with this new consciousness, that this mission may fail. The overall mission of all that we have come here to do may fail. And What's interesting about this is the second time that someone has told Greg this in the last months. When I heard it the first time, I didn't want to believe it. I thought, well, no, we're not going to fail. I'm just, it's not going to happen. And then to hear it again, I mean, they're screaming at us. Our space brothers and sisters, our future selves, our angels, our guides, they want to tell us the urgency of the situation here is that if we don't stand in our power of who we are and what we're here to do quickly as a collective, then we are very close to letting things go. I'm going to explain that a little bit more, and that's why I'm here, because we don't want to do that. I know nobody that's listening to me wants to do that, but I'm just the messenger here. I'm telling you that there's an urgency. So, we know that Pluto is in Capricorn until 2023. Now, Pluto is the destroyer of all politics, religion, and money. We know that we are standing on the brink and have been standing on the brink of a collapse in either the Vatican or our economic system or politics. I mean, everything has been exposed. It's just a matter of the people knowing about it. You know, with the mainstream media being owned by the same people who run the politics and religion and money, it's the last thing that they want people to, to hear about. So we're doing everything we can as warriors of the light to do things like this, to have these radio shows, to have these Google Hangout talks, to write articles, to spread it in any way that we can think of, which is the World Wide Web, which is the one thing they haven't taken away from us yet. And basically, with that in mind, if you want to put a time frame on it, really that ends in 9 years. Well, 9 years seems like a long time, but it's really not. And that does not mean that a timeline couldn't change, something else, some miraculous thing could happen and allow us more time. But what it means is that everything that we know of and has been happening, it happens in cycles, and the cycles are tied to astrology, and this is the time. In order for the age of Aquarius, I just drew a blank. We're moving into the age of Aquarius, right?
Right, exactly, right. We're kind of on the dawn. This is the dawning of it, so to
Thank
speak.
you. I just wanted to make sure, because I feel like I've left my body, and then when I had to think of something, I came back into my body and I got a little mixed up. But we go through ages, and in order for a golden age to dawn, to actually dawn, we've got to get through this before 2023. We've got to make this happen. Now, in order to, what does it mean by we have to make this happen? We came here, I'm talking to all the light warriors out there, to the light workers, to the light bearers, to the light grounders. I'm not talking right now to humanity in general. This is a pep talk. This is a pep talk to all my star brothers and sisters who came here from the angelic realms and came here from other planets of higher dimensions. What's happening on the planet now is not only going to affect our galaxy, it's not only going to affect our universe, it's going to affect the whole cosmos. And we came here, all eyes are on Earth right now, and people don't really realize the extent of it. Let me tell you what's going to happen to our bodies if we don't raise our vibration. And I'm not doing this to scare people. I'm talking to the people who already know this, just like I knew this. But there's a little bit extra that today I started thinking about, and I wanted to share with people, and I want people to give feedback, and I want to hear what people think about this. Okay, we know that our bodies need to be raised to a higher vibrational frequency in order to handle the energetic pulses that are being sent to us from our sun through our great central sun Alcyone in the Pleiades. And that's coming from the center of the cosmos, because we are now in a place, we have moved into a place astrologically and a location within our universe to where we can receive these pulses of frequency. This was the plan. We all know this was the plan, to raise our vibration. This is how we would, in the dark, control over the planet, is that we would remember how to adjust our bodies in order to accept these frequencies. And this pulse is going to be of a fifth dimensional frequency or higher. And so when it hits the Earth is going to change her vibration and become like a star, in that she's shining again, once again, a fifth dimensional frequency or higher. And in order, she's a spaceship traveling around. In order to stay on her, you have to vibrate at her. It's the law of vibrational resonance, or residence, if you want to look at it that way too.
Both.
Okay, so we all know that we have to work on ourselves. We have to clear our stuck energies in order to bring in more light. Our cells are gradually taking in this light and changing from carbon-based to crystalline-based. We all know this as light workers. We're just preaching to the choir as far as that goes. However, what this nice Russian lady said that her guides told her is that this could be the end for not only the body. If the body gets pulsed by this frequency and it has not raised its vibration to match it, it will disintegrate. And I knew this. This is what we've been telling everybody. But not only the body, but the soul shard or the soul fragment could be destroyed as well. And that means you lose your personality, you lose all your lives and all your experiences, because it will be, from what she's saying her guides told her, this is the end of the experience. And I've heard other people talk about that, and then that's when the earth is supposedly, I've heard them say the earth will split into two earths. Dolores Cannon has talked about this. Our friend Sarah Brown has talked about this. And I think that what we've been told, because out of compassion, is that that we know that the people who haven't made their soul journey to the point of being able to move into the new earth will just have another experience somewhere, and where they will be able to continue to work. So this is pretty shocking for her to say that her guide said that some people could actually, their soul shards would explode and be stardust floating out into the universe. And when something like that happens, the reverberation and vibration of that can affect the universe or the cosmos. It also will affect the universe and cosmos when the Earth becomes this shining star again, in a positive way. But then you've also got all the soul dust floating around. And you would think, this is just my imagination from here on out, imagining the angelic realms, putting groups together to eventually come back. Energy doesn't die, so it's just out there floating, and they're going to have to come and basically sweep up the soul shards and make, creator gods are going to have to create something out of them again, So I couldn't figure out in my head, though, okay, well, if our bodies carry this creator god energy within us, that's our soul, and then we're pulsed with a vibrational frequency that's fifth dimensional or higher, that's made out of the same stuff as our soul's supposedly made out of, then how is it that it would vibrate apart? And I started thinking, okay, what happens to you when you die? Well, our soul or our spirit, you can call it either one, lifts up out of our body, and it has a vibrational frequency at that time. And if you had a a spiritual life and you raised your vibration and you brought more parts of your soul in and cleared them, and you were able to do all the work that we're doing now of clearing, helping your soul clear those past life energies, because your soul carries all these lifetimes, then it would seem to me if you raised up out of your body, if I lost my body tomorrow, I could probably go somewhere of a fifth dimensional frequency or higher. But for those people who haven't woken up to what they need to be doing, cleansing their energies, if they were to die tomorrow, well, I would think that they would go to the astral realm, which is the fourth dimension, because that's what they mean. I think that's what is meant by being trapped here, because we haven't had the memory of what we were supposed to be doing. And that's how you get trapped, is that you go to where the vibration takes you. That's the law of vibrational resonance. So if these souls are in the fourth dimensional frequency, which is the astral realm, and this pulse comes to Earth, it seems to me like the plan would have been, in order to wipe out the dark for good in this experience and start a new experience in a fifth dimensional frequency, that it would wipe out the astral realm. And so if these souls are, lose their body with the pulse, and they're vibrating to the fourth dimensional astral realm, where there won't be anywhere for them to go. And that is the urgency. And so as messengers, as light workers, as space brothers and sisters that took the risk to come here and wake people up and tell them that, a lot of our space brothers and sisters are still asleep because they got lost in the dark manipulation and magic that's happening right now. I'm writing an article today. My day started with writing the second part of how black magic is affecting humanity, part 2. And I wrote a spell basically on how to use magic to break free of this spell of the black magic. And I'll be putting that out on CosmicStarseeds.com within the next couple of days, maybe Friday, because we have our show tomorrow. But basically, let me get back to our roles. Could we be possibly not doing everything that we can? It seems like we are. I mean, look at us.
Yeah.
But this is a realization that if this is true, and we vibrate where the trap is that every lifetime they've kept you at a lower vibrational frequency. Get this. Let's say that you were burned at the stake as a witch, and when you died, it was in such pain and fear. Guess where your soul's going to vibrate to when you die like that? It's going to vibrate to the lower astral realms of the fourth dimension, until what happens is your angels or your guides or your loved ones come get you and pull you out. So this is all part of an elaborate plan by the dark that's been happening for thousands and thousands of years. That's how we're trapped, is the knowledge. And okay, first of all, the fear of dying. If you have a fear of dying and you die in fear, then your vibration is going to be low. Your essence of your soul is going to be vibrating at a fear vibration. So
No, I totally agree. It's got to be like that, because that remembrance is there. How could it not be that it wouldn't be there, and that trauma stays with you.
Yeah. So I wrote an article on how to transmute fear. It was part of my How to Ascend ebook that I have. I mean, all these pieces are just falling together. It just seems like to me, I could be wrong, but it just seems like to me that this lady, the guides did their job, didn't they? They told the lady,
Yeah.
the lady told Greg, Greg told me, and we've invited her. She's actually a writer, so by now, on her mission, she would have written several books on how religion is keeping people in domination, control, and fear by looking outside of yourself instead of realizing who you are. This is what the definition of standing in your power is, and recognizing who you are. Personally, we either came from the angelic realm or we came from the monad realm. Okay, monads are the oversouls of our soul. Personally, this is how I feel that the creation of souls happened. The Creator created the seraphim angels first, and then created the cherubim angels and the other angelic hierarchy of angels. And the seraphim aren't any better than the cherubim, or the cherubim aren't any better than an archangel, or an archangel isn't any better than a cherubim. And the words may not even be what they really are, but that's what the language has, so we can identify and understand as humans that all they are is just they're vibrating at a different frequency. So a seraphim is not any more important than a cherubim. Okay, then after the angels, then the monad souls were created. And the first monad soul that was supposedly created, and let's just use this name called Marietta, is the same oversoul that the one that they call Yeshua that came down to the planet is supposed to be from. And there's, we're all multi-dimensional beings, so we start out next to Creator. Creator split itself up to be able to come down a little bit in frequency, and then we split our monad or our angelic self, whichever one we are. We're either a monad or we're an angelic, an angel frequency. It's just frequency of energy is all it is. It's a way to classify the frequency of energy. We stepped down and created a soul, and the soul split out into all these individual lifetimes. And this is just about this experience, about this round of creation, about this round of Brahma, just to have this duality, polarity experience, okay? So, kind of lost my train of thought. So,
let's see. Go ahead.
Well, I think what I was trying to get at is that we need to recognize who we are. From when we came down from dimensions, we are multi-dimensional beings. We go all the way up right next to Creator. We're either of the angelic realm or of the soul of the monad, one of the two, and they're all there in the center of the cosmos with Creator, all tied to Creator, and we're all tied together. We're all tied together, and so we need to stand in the power of who we are, and do what we came here to do. And this is just a plea to everybody to start. If you think you're an angel, if you've been told that you're a seraphim angel, an archangel, an angel, if you even feel like you're an angel, stand in your power and be that angel. Do it, because we're running out of time here to help people out and to wake up our brothers and sisters. If you feel like you're from the planet Arcturus, from a 7th dimensional frequency or a 5th dimensional frequency, angels aren't any more important than you. You need to stand in your power of being that extra-dimensional, extraterrestrial that volunteered to come to Earth and incarnate. There's another thing that people need to realize. For instance, I'm just going to publicly go out there and say that when I was 15 years old, it seems that who I am now is actually a walk-in that came into my body at 15 years of age. So I braided with my current soul. It's either a higher aspect of my soul, or it's part of a higher vibrational monad, or part of an angelic being. But it's here, and my life did seem to change. Now, I had a reading, an Akashic reading, and I had someone identify that there was a disc over my third eye, and she says, and I'm going to have this lady on our show. She's a very gifted psychic. She completely blew me away with her reading, and everything she said resonated with me. And she said that I'm a walk-in soul. I know many people who are walk-ins. So we need to realize that our mother and father may have chosen to bring a soul into this body, uh, to create this body and allow a soul to walk in, but then we brought a higher essence being a part of us here to do this job. We couldn't have just done it. It's just like the metaphor of Mary and Mother Mary,
Mm-hmm.
um, needing to have she had to go through training herself to be able to raise her vibration in order to take in that essence of the one that they call Jesus or Yeshua into her body um, it's just what I'm trying to say is that my parents couldn't have put together a body that could carry enough essence to where I would wake up. So what happens is we can have what we call walk-ins, which is just an agreement with that particular soul that, okay, at a certain age, I'm going to come down and braid with you. And it's a slow integrative process most of the time, because the physical body has degenerated after so much, after being changed from back when we were changed and bred down to two-strand DNA, that it had to be a slow process. And they say that the one that was Yeshua that came down and changed the bloodline of all of humanity. There's a saying that everyone now has that new bloodline that will allow the DNA to be able to accept the light and to be activated. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. It could be ET intervention just as well. But whatever it is, my parents couldn't have created a being that could have brought all their essence into my mother's womb and be born in order to wake up and to carry out this mission. I had to come in as a walk-in to braid with my wonderful soul, whoever whoever that is. So that's pretty deep, I know. And it's really hard to function in this lifetime right now on imagination and on things that we can't see, touch, feel, or hear. That is why people are starting to see their guides and to hear their guides, and they're telling them information. I'm hearing, as the witness, I'm hearing it. Several of the same things being said by different people. For instance,
Me too.
you
Yeah.
had Sarah
No, go
Brown
ahead.
on your show. hmm
Yeah.
You had Sarah Brown on your show, okay? She's confirming that Nibiru is behind the sun. She says that that Nibiru, who are who the Anunnaki are from, um, the Anunnaki are the ones that bred with the humans to change the DNA pattern from a 12-strand or higher to a 2-strand. And ever since that happened, we reincarnated without the memory of the connection that we have all the way back up as multidimensional beings to our Creator. Well, she said that Comet Ison was Nibiru, and that Nibiru is now here, and that they have turned to the light. They've realized their errors of their ways, and they're here to help humanity by pulsing the sun and helping the sun bring that energy onto the planet and into humanity. Well, Monday, on Greg Prescott's show on N5D, his first show back from several-month hiatus, had Jim Delacoli, astrologer, on there. And so I called in and I asked Jim. I just asked him, Jim, is Nibiru now here, and was Comet Ison, in your opinion, Nibiru? And he said yes. So he's standing in his power. He's not afraid to give his opinion of what he thinks. He said that, we are in the where we are right now in the cosmos. We are in the middle. We are in alignment with the middle of the universe, and it's not unheard of for Nibiru supposed to be back here at this time, 12,500, 13,000 years. Think about it. That was the fall of Atlantis.
Exactly.
So there's confirmation coming from everywhere I look. I'm paying attention. I'm asking questions. I can hear something and I can run it through my heart, but when I get confirmation from somebody else saying it, I've read these things too. It's just that there's so much information out there, and there's so much disinformation out there. I mean, sure, we've all seen the articles that said, Greg was one of the ones to say, is this Comet Ison? Is this Nibiru? Is this Planet X? I mean, but did anybody actually come out and say, yes, this is? Well, now Sarah's got guides telling her, yes, it was, and I'm asking questions. I'm getting this confirmation. Here's the problem. The chemtrails are keeping this pulsing light that's going to help change our cells and help our bodies continue to raise the vibration to be able to take this light. It's blocking it. The chemtrails are blocking it. The chemtrails are not just to make us ill and depopulation control. They're to keep us from taking in the light. And so I've been thinking about this, and I know some of us are consciously already, we've by healing our bodies, by intending that we bring in the light, the chemtrails can't stop us. But I'm talking about the average human on the planet that hasn't woken up. They're being curtailed by the chemtrails, and that's why it really does depend where you live on this planet right now as to how bad you're going to be affected. You live in a major city where it's very populated, you're going to have chemtrails. But I've been thinking about it. The people who are consciously bringing in and grounding that light. I've been talking about grounding, how important grounding was. It's been drilled into my head. Write an article about grounding. Tell them how to ground. Now I know why. Because if we're grounding the energy into the planet is able to get that energy. That is what the only thing that some of these light workers are here to do. Some people are only here to be antennas and grounders. And they may not even be awake, but their energy vibration is so high that the chemtrails are not affecting the fact that the pulses are coming into their body. They're grounding it into the planet, so she's getting the energy. Now the key here is all these light workers who are out there on cloud 9, and they're not grounded because they're not getting the energy if they're affected by chemtrails. But if they ground it into the planet, she's going to give it back to them. She's going to be the source of the energy. Okay, so it's very important to stay grounded. And it's very important to be a grounder as well. If we're awake and we're going through ascension symptoms, then we know that the energy is affecting us. Okay, so and eventually the light, can break through. We're hoping the light will break through this barrier somehow. Okay, and I would be open to anybody's suggestions, writing articles, let us know. We can have them on the show, whatever. I know there's people out there that have comments to say about this, and they can contact us through Facebook. And,
yeah, we're not hard to find.
No. No, let me just, did you have anything to say about that before I go on?
I just wanted to touch on what you were talking about, the things that you've read, but these stories that are starting to come out from people, just a little people people I know that we may talk to in the groups and talk to privately in the groups, they're starting to have these experiences like that. They may not even know exactly what's going on because they're asking me, well, what does this mean? What does that mean? But they're having visits from archangels, and their bodies are going through some really strange, different kind of ascension symptoms that we're not even, somebody like you or I might not even used to be having. And it just, all this stuff, what I'm trying to say is all this stuff ties in together, and the synchronicities are just becoming too fast and too furious, and by the day and multiple times a day almost, to where
Mm-hmm.
it's like almost par for the course that, I mean, this is happening, and I really wish people would stand in their own light and understand how important they are. You know, you'll hear somebody say, well, oh, I was always told I was an angel by so and so, or I was always told I was an angel growing up. Well, you probably are then, but it's
Yeah.
time to really know that you are. And that's
Yes.
not judgment. Start knowing that you are and getting full of that feeling. Now, you know, they may say, well, Larry, gee, how do you do that? Well, just by being conscious of it, I would think to start with, that you know, you need to ground yourself. Like I've been trying to ground myself. That's kind of my weakness, but being full of that light. I mean, do some sun gazing, do whatever, but just be conscious of who you are and understand how great and powerful you are. And I mean, I don't know how to really say that without sounding like somebody that's getting paid to do a oh, you know, a motivational speech. But the truth of the matter is that, and that ties into the fact that, okay, you know, failing our mission here, you know, they've always known what they are, but, and yes, it's hard as hell to live here in 3D life. There's no doubt about it. But I think we're at the point now where we're getting enough energy through where, you know, people can take another look at it that are caught in a rut and say, hey, you know, maybe I need to ground my light a little better. And that doesn't mean I'm not giving them any advice on to stop eating something, stop smoking, stop whatever. But it just a conscious thought of that is who they are. Just start really thinking that and knowing it, you know. And I guess that's all really that I wanted to kind of add to that, because that really struck me when you were talking about the synchronicity of
Mm-hmm.
people's stories, and they're just coming out by the day.
Well, and they're also, think about, all the things that are happening right now with all the storms, with all the rain. I mean, first of all, if you live in a rainy place like Oregon, Washington State, New York City, England, Scotland, Ireland, where it rains all the time,
Hmm.
that's bad enough. And so, you're thinking to yourself, how can I get these pulses of energy from the sun if the sun's not in the sky? It's by grounding yourself, connecting to the
Hmm.
connecting to the energy that Mother Earth is basically turning around. When the people who are grounding it into her, she's turning around and she's handing it back to whoever needs it. But why do you think that they're having? I don't know if you've been watching the geoengineering storms right now, especially over frickin' by Japan, where's the last place that we need it. But the tornadoes, the hurricanes, I mean, besides what Mother Earth is doing by trying to balance the energy as it comes in, and as she's using it, she's going through her ascension symptoms just like we are. And she, besides the natural things that happen, but the geoengineered, where you can see where they sprayed the chemtrails, and you can see the pulses of HARP that causes 10 hours later, you've got a huge storm with hail and tornadoes right where the
Yeah, it's
pulses
really
were.
weird. You know, it's really
Yeah,
strange, and the weather it's making the weather change out here. And I know in the Pacific Northwest, we're not getting the rain like we used to, and it's been a slow change. But the sun is coming through a lot more, typically in the late winter and early spring than it used to.
that's
And
good
it just
news.
seems that is good news for us. I think Oregon's, you know, the Northwest is a little bit blessed, but you're right. And you know, it just something hit my Akash, like my innate, when you talked about that. And you've got Mother Earth trying to ascend, but you've also got all this testing going on, and you've got all this geoengineering going on. And it kind of reminds me of when stuff started to go south in Atlantis and Lemuria with the abusing the crystal power and abusing these powers
Mhm.
to for greed. And it really hit me. And at that same time too, of course, the earth was kind of going through a little bit of a shift, getting, you know, it was just getting kicked into gear. And so these things are like, it's almost like watching a bad movie play out. At least that's, I'm starting to get that feeling. I mean, we really better, you know, we really better wake up. I sound like my grandfather, but I mean, these are just things to really be aware of. Okay, so now we're all at the point where we're aware of this, a lot of us, but it's like, what are we going to do now? The chemtrails, you know, it's like, okay, well, I don't know why for years that hasn't been asked why and what it is, and they get away with not giving us an answer about it.
I
it's
know.
just, and
I
people,
really don't know what we're going to do
people
about
don't like to
chemtrails
look
right
at
now.
it. Yeah, right. People don't like to, they know it's there, but they don't like to talk about it. It's like, okay, they said giants have never been on Earth before, but then in science class in high school, you may see this book with a 10-foot hominoid,
Yeah.
like with this one article, one place, but yet they don't explain it away, and yet they just, it's almost like an innuendo that's an anomaly, but yet your Akash knows that it's true they were here, but yet
Mhm.
it said that there's no such thing. So I mean, we have all these mental contradiction, mind controls of it's a lie on one level, it's true on the
Mhm.
next level, it's a lie on the, and it's really, yeah, it just really blows my mind because I've
Well,
always
one
saw it so clearly. I thought,
well, one thing is for sure is that it's an elaborate plan, and it's an ingenious plan.
mm,
Now, but
true,
this is a galactic war, and this has become a universal war, and this has become a cosmic war. So we do have help. It's just that they have universal law
yes,
that they have to
yes they do,
follow. And so that's why we infiltrated from the inside. That's why we
yes,
incarnated, and then we had soul braiding with higher essences. Most of us probably do have. I mean, that's what it is. That's what it means to connect with your soul and to bring in to heal. That's what it means to heal past lives. Is you're connecting with a higher essence or vibrational essence of yourself. So, and also, since there's only, 8 billion bodies available right now on the planet, it's another way to help and to infiltrate would be to braid for a higher essence to braid with you. Now, everybody that that does this, their subconscious has obviously volunteered out of free will to allow a higher vibrational essence to come in and to awaken and together to be a part of the pioneers to tell people, what if we were able to tell people, I'm going to write articles as much as I can, but what if we were able to tell people, what chemtrails really could be for, to keep us from receiving this pulse. And if you don't get out of fear, if you don't clear yourself, if you don't receive this energy, then your soul could actually be decimated. It could turn into stardust because you didn't do your work. And there are some people that knew they weren't going to be able to do that. Okay, this is like, okay, we've been told by many sources, and one of them is Dolores Cannon, but we are the best of the best. We came here to exit from the game. So it's
yeah.
time to kick it into gear and to
It's time
exit.
to
That's
just
my
screwing
message
around and
today.
kick it into gear. And I agree with you totally. It's time to quit screwing around, kick it into gear, and stand in that light that we know we have. And as far as the chemtrails go, you're right. I mean, all this other stuff, poisoning our food, poisoning our water, altering us with whatever chemicals they're spraying. Okay, that's just a multiple use thing they're doing. This thing really is meant, especially now. I mean, isn't it kind of funny how it's ramped up in the last few years, the chemtrails? I
Hmm.
mean, they've always been poisoning our foods, but since we've gotten closer to the center of if we've gotten closer to Alcyone and the other planets of star nations have gotten closer to us, it's kind of interesting coincidence, ha ha ha, that these chemtrails have just kicked in on a multi-level basis, from ships out at sea shooting them in the air to planes everywhere and just doing it, and probably planes that don't even realize they're spraying them.
Hmm.
I mean, some of these people, they don't even realize, the pilots don't realize exactly what they're doing, and I find it really odd. And my biggest fear is this. My biggest fear is not that. My biggest fear is the denial of when you try to explain to people that this is what these chemtrails are for. They're trying to block us out from our divinity, basically, in our star family,
Hmm.
and it's
Well,
just,
listen, Larry,
yeah,
nothing can block us from our divinity. That's what I'm here to tell
right.
everybody. Not even chemtrails. Because look, we've woken up, okay? That's a start. That means that we have we've been able to get past that, and we've been able to take this light in and ground it. And, you know, people need to, they can talk about being light workers all they want, okay? But, you know, Facebook is one of the best and most wonderful tools in the world right now for getting together with your soul family. I don't know of any other tools that's been used as much in the metaphysical and spiritual genres to spread word, to spread information like this. And if there is, I need to be on there. So somebody tell me about it.
Yes, somebody give me a clue if there is. I'd love to know. Yeah.
But listen,
oh boy.
you know,
Yeah.
all of us see these people that are arguing still on Facebook. You know, just yesterday I posted something on my own wall, and a woman got on my wall and said, I don't agree with this, this is BS, blah, 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 on my wall. And so I'm like, okay, first of all, and she said, something like, I don't want to read any more of bullshit like this or something. And so I got on there, and I'm usually take the higher road, you know. But in this case, I just had to tell her, I had to reply and say, look, you are on my wall. This is my opinion. This is my mission. This is my job to put my truth out there. If you don't want to hear it, don't get on my wall and read my articles. And then,
yeah, really, exactly.
And then I banned her, and you know, and deleted all of the comments, because really that kind of stuff doesn't need to be on there. But
we just don't have time for that nonsense.
People,
and I mean, it wouldn't even matter if you were completely off the wall. For somebody to just come in and go, well, that's a bunch of BS. Who the hell is anybody to tell anybody else what is what? I mean, and I'm not going to read any more of this. If they were so secure with their feelings and what they thought, if they were so secure about what they knew, it wouldn't faze them one bit to enjoy whatever you had to say, even if they disagreed with it internally. But they're insecure. The truth hurts people. And, you know, just acting like that and saying those kind of words, it doesn't even make sense, you know.
It doesn't.
I mean, I was younger. I know I've been there. But these people, they kill me. It's so played out to act that way and ridiculous. And I almost sometimes have to laugh and wonder if it's a setup. But I know it's just people still are unawakened.
This is a light worker. I looked at her wall, and it's not like she just started, you know, 6 months ago on Facebook. And so whatever happened to the golden rule? I mean, would you want somebody coming on your wall and I don't care if she doesn't agree with what I say. Okay, it's just the fact that, you know, if people need to wake up as light workers, you know, start standing in your power of a higher being, and start treating others as you'd like to be treated. If you read something that you don't agree with, you can have two stances. You can either you can say something very nice and say, have you ever thought about it this way? Or B, don't say anything at all and just go on about your day, okay? And let people express their opinions on the internet before the internet is taken away from us. Another thing, you know, that happened is there's a group. I want to talk to the administrators of groups out there. There's a group that Greg has been posting on for years. I don't know, maybe 1-2 years. I don't know, maybe more. And it's called Spiritual Free Thought Study Group. And I post there, and Greg, when he had his radio show, he posted on this group. And we get invited to these groups, we join, and we read the post, we read their, you know, their restrictions or whatever, their rules, right? And, you know, a year later, we maybe forgot out of 20 groups that this particular one does not want you to advertise, okay? Well, we're not selling anything as light workers other than the truth. You can either take it or leave it, right? And so he's been he posted about his radio show last year, and they didn't say anything, but obviously he posted his last radio show, I guess maybe Sunday or Monday, and they banned him from the group. They banned
Yeah.
him from the group. And I've posted 8 postings. We've had 4 radio shows. I've posted twice for each show on that group, and I didn't get banned. So one of the administrators of the group just basically cut him off, and I'm just calling out to the administrators. I mean, first of all, I feel sorry for everybody in that group because I feel like personally Greg Prescott has a lot to offer the world.
Yeah, he does
And
a hell of a lot to offer, and it's a damn shame, and I hope that somebody
it's
hears
sad.
this, and it is really sad.
It's
You
not
know,
about fighting. It's not about wanting them
yeah,
it's not about wanting them to accept him back into the group because he doesn't want to be in that group now, obviously. What it's about
yeah,
is I just want to tell the administrators of the groups, if somebody's breaking the rules, send them a warning. Send them a private message and say, look, we've had this, because this has been going on for years that he's been
yeah,
posting things.
exactly.
And
Yeah,
if they think a radio, it's about self promotion is what they call it, and because it was a radio show and he was promoting himself. Now there's another group that I'm a part of. Um, Let me look at it because I don't want to say the wrong
there's one that
thing.
banned me
It's
too while you're
Texas
looking that up.
Lightworkers. Texas
Texas Lightworkers.
Lightworkers
Okay.
is the group that I'm in, and I got a warning, and that was fine. I mean, I was glad I got a warning. But apparently, radio shows are self-promotion. We're not frickin' selling anything. But
Yeah, we're
as
not selling anything. We're providing a service and helping people. We're doing it because we want to help and we want to get that out there. And we're not asking. We do this for free, completely for free.
it's all
And
for free.
people
None of
really
us
need to
have
get on with
jobs.
themselves. Exactly. And the thing is like I was banned for posting a couple of radio shows as well from the big Starseeds group, the huge one, because some admin had a bad day. And you know what? I don't really care. That's their thing. That's that group and whatever. But, and I would never go back there either. But I would just, I just thought it was really kind of chicken shit, to be honest with you. And what you bringing up what happened to Greg, I mean, that's just so ridiculous. I mean, it's not like he was saying, come to Greg's spiritual retreat,
Yeah,
$200 for the week. I
right.
mean,
It's not a
the,
conference. It's not. The point being is that, man,
nothing.
we need to work together. We can't ban
Yeah.
information. We can't take the power in our hands to ban
Yes, so,
information from
exactly.
7,000 other people. We need to work together, and we're not perfect. We can't. Gosh, we didn't know that a radio show was advertising or self-promotion. All we're
Yeah.
doing is trying to get information out to people, and we need to work together. This is the biggest tool we have, Facebook, to get this information out to people. So please work together. Don't take the power into your hands as an administrator and just ban somebody unless you gave them a warning and they didn't heed your warning. There are people wanting to sell
Exactly.
fake sunglasses. There are people wanting to sell
Hey, Michelle,
their,
you want to
you know,
buy some Ray-Bans?
yeah, those are the type of people that need banning, not the people who have
Yeah.
who have a radio show that takes hours and hours to prepare
Oh,
for,
God. I
and to
know.
to have the balls to get on the air to begin with is huge, because we all have this inner fear of talking in front of people or getting up in front of people and speaking our minds, and that is the fear that I'm asking all of you to work on and to have your voice heard. It took a long time for me to get there, and when you
Hmm.
get there, this is your job. Your job is to bring other people with you. Okay? If you have an opportunity, like I had with Greg's N5D radio show, and I brought Larry along, said, Larry, would you like to come play? And he
Hmm.
said yes. Well, look at what
Hell
you've
yeah.
done. All of a sudden, Larry has his own show like this that I'm able to come on and use as a platform as well. But then Larry is helping out somebody else at the current moment get her radio show going. This is how it works. We've got to help our brothers and sisters, and we've got to keep the chain going. And now more than ever, that
It's
I'm going
called
to get
pay it
off my
forward.
yeah, I'm going to get off my
No,
soapbox
no,
now.
you're going to get off your soapbox.
I'm telling you, look, you know, we may have 9 years, we may not have 9 years, we may have more than 9 years. I don't know, but from what I'm getting, and I'm the messenger, from what I'm getting, they're freaking out on the other side. Okay, they're trying as much as they can to come through with messages, and so what can we do, and how are we going to do this? All goes back to now that the energies are coming in, pulsing more and more and more, the higher consciousness, it's raising consciousness, it's allowing us to be able to tap into the energies. Some of us can hear, some of us get thoughts downloaded. Some people are actually seeing and hearing their guides. Like, for instance, I know our friend Sarah is having a hard time actually adjusting to their energies because they're of such a high vibration. And that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that she's not a high vibration. What it means is that in order to make that connection, she has to she has to use her body and her pineal gland and her heart and her pituitary gland and get everything in tune like a radio station to be able to hear them. Otherwise, it's just fast talk. And we know what it sounds like, Larry, because we recorded it. We recorded it on your Pleiadian Talk show.
Nibiru.
We had a Niburian speak to us on air, and you can go to part 2 of the Pleiadian Talk with
1 minute.
Walling.
Yes, right. 1 hour, 25 minutes in, and it comes in about the 30-second mark, but I would encourage everybody to, kind of put it at about 1 hour, 25 minutes and listen to that whole minute. But then I wanted to, I don't think this will come up, but I wanted to let everybody know as far as, because people may go, I haven't heard it yet, but people may go, well, what was it? Well, no, it wasn't that. Well, let me put it to you this way, okay? There was nobody else in the room with us. Okay, Sarah was actually out of the room for a second, so it wasn't her. It wasn't a hacker. If it was a hacker, you'd have to think if it was somebody smart enough to hack into our Google chat without us being able to see their name, they would have said something either you couldn't make out at all, or they would have said something more. They would have said some other shit too with it. So it's all those things, and it's like, why would somebody... Exactly. So what I'm trying to say is there's no other rhyme or reason for it. And going back through the show, I think I found some other things that kind of break in. They're trying to break in and communicate with us. I know definitely with Sarah, with you and I, Michelle. I mean, we had it on, I think we had it on the Cosmic Awakening one night where you just had a weird sound come through. And it, I just both thought nothing of it, but just thought it was weird. But it wasn't just, when it's feedback and it's things like that, like sound feedback, but then your innate kind of knows when it's something else. And then, until you've got something else to go on, you just kind of tuck it away and go from there. But we've got to tune into that frequency. And it's hard sometimes for people like her and several other people that I know that are going through it too, probably more than I even realize, in these groups are going through it.
Well,
I hear it every day.
yes, but you know what? That's what we came here to do, to raise our frequency, to meet our higher selves or our higher guides, and to learn to frickin' know what to do right now, because it's getting very important. And if we just get lost in our everyday tasks and don't work on that communication, then we are failing our mission. We're failing our mission. And they have, if they've got something important to say, they're going to keep trying. And if you keep ignoring them, eventually they could go away because of your free will. So, that's where you have to lose the fear. There's a lot of fear involved in talking with beings from the other side, because if you have fear that they could be dark beings, or in this case, extremely high vibrational light beings, they talk, the message is so fast that, it has to be, you have to slow it down. They've been communicating through your thoughts anyway.
You're
We just
right.
don't
So
realize
that's
it.
you just don't realize it. And so when they try, they're already on a faster vibration. And so when they try to
Hmm.
communicate in any kind of an earth lingo like we know, which they can do, it's hard for them to get on that frequency with us too,
It
because it's so
is.
fast and they're not used to communicating that way. And it's like the Pleiadians have told me too about frequency. People are they're trying to get people in tune to picking up on each other's frequency. Like we own, like you said, we all have our own radio band in our head, and it's about tuning into each other's and getting on that same cosmic wavelength, literally,
Hmm.
that cosmic web internet, so to speak.
Well,
And
yeah.
yeah,
Well, and everybody says, nobody's going to come save us. Well, guess what? Um, there's ways around the rules to save us. We need saving at this point if we can't save ourselves. And the way that they can help is by now that I mean we Sarah has said that we're already in like fourth dimension. But I think it's more of a density vibration thing rather than putting a number on it. I think we have raised to a point to where we're
yeah,
closer. It's not that they had to come down so much in frequency, it's that we have raised so much in
we
frequency.
have
So,
the planet. Yep.
let's not worry, we're not worried too much about us, the ones I'm talking to, the light workers who are awake, who are awakening right now, who are doing their work. We will get there. It's just about standing in our power and taking the guidance that our space brothers and sisters or angels are now able to give us. And because like I said before, if we just hear it in our head or we just have a thought that pops into our head, a lot of times we'll just chalk that off to imagination. So now they're having to speak, and anybody who's clairvoyant, they're having to come into their awareness. And that's what we planned. We planned to have this interaction with higher essence of being, to be able to receive hints and clues and guidance. And here's an example. Okay, I found out some information about myself, about who I was, and I shared that information in one of my articles, but I'm not going to get into that right now. What I wanted to do was to tell you how I use the system. So I asked our friend Sarah, I said, Sarah, I know you have these beings that you've received a lot of messages from. I just want to confirm something with you. And if you would please tune into your guides, because I don't see things. I don't hear things. I've only heard one word spoken to me in my head before. I I'm guided to run across things on the internet and led down a rabbit hole path. That's how I get a lot of my information, and then I automatic write. So I said, I went into meditation and I asked Sarah's guides to speak to her and to confirm this thing that I just learned, okay? So she's sitting at her table or something and she gets this queasy feeling. And then she gets she hears the thing. I chatted her. She hears the bling, and she goes over to the computer, and I had just asked her guides to communicate this information to her. So this is working. I mean, this is real. It works. This is a system. We're working together to help each other. And she said, well, I'm sorry, but right now I can't make the connection. And so I told her what I learned. And while I'm chatting with her, which I hadn't chatted with her all day, I look down and there's a notice that pops up on the left-hand side of my screen, a Facebook notification. You may like this page. And it was on Nibiru. Now, the whole time I've been on Facebook, I've never had a page pop up on Nibiru to begin with, but I'm just happened to be talking to Sarah and asked her Nibiru guides to confirm with her about what I had just learned, and I took that as my confirmation. So when we put expectations on how the information is going to come through, it may not come through the way we think it will, but if we're awake and aware and watch the synchronicities, we can flow with it. We can ride the wave, and we can get all the information we need to do our jobs and to not fail in our mission. How disappointing would it be, even if we lost our bodies? We float off into the fifth or sixth or seventh dimension or wherever we vibrate to, only to know that we failed in our mission.
Exactly. And you know, and you sent me that link earlier today too when we were talking privately, the Anunnaki. And about 3 years ago, when I first came onto Facebook, it was one of the first. In fact, it was actually the second page that I had ever liked and
Oh my
posted.
God, really, Larry?
Yeah,
That's
it was actually
amazing.
I found that one and one on Atlantis at the same time, and I
Oh my
posted them
gosh.
both. And I followed it for a little bit, you know, just whatever. And then years passed, and you sent it to me, and I thought, yeah, I had liked it before, and I went back into some of my old files, my pages that I liked, and that was one of them, sure enough.
Unbelievable. Now, this stuff happens to everybody. You just have to
Yes,
put, that's how we get our messages. That's how we get our
everywhere.
confirmations, okay? It's, we really would like for them to just talk to us. I have asked so many times, would you just materialize in my bedroom and tell me what you need to say? Apparently, they can't do that. Because I've been
Yeah,
waiting for 3 years. Some people they do, and these some people either A, they don't want to believe it, or B, they're too fearful to tell anybody. Things you think they might be put in the loony bin. But
right.
now's the time, people. Now's the time to allow this communication to happen. Use your discernment. Feel it within your heart. There will be confirmation after you have your discussion that will confirm as to either what they said, or it's basically guidance. They're not here to tell you what to do. Don't any beings that come up and say you need to do this or you need to do that, that's not what we're talking about here. That's definitely got a different agenda. This is about guidance to help you complete your mission.
Exactly. And you won't notice any judgment in the tone either. It will be, if you hear
No.
judgment or you should, like you're being talked down to by a dictator, well, then, you know, then that's a pretty good indication that you're not dealing with something of the angelic realm or anything of the true light.
Yes, but the main thing is, once you're growing your light quotient like you are now, you're more powerful than any of those poor little astral beings that,
Yeah,
this is what they're scared of, Larry.
they're
I think
scared of our
they know
power.
that
They know.
this pulse is going to wipe out the astral realm.
And even some of the most timid people I've known in the groups, they are getting to the point now where even they're like 75% in control of, you know, they wouldn't have any qualms about telling one of these beings off or just to get lost or whatever. I mean, we are that powerful and they know it, and people are also awakening to that too. I'm seeing it in people every day. It seems like they're just becoming more confident and more, they're stepping into that light. So that is good news. A lot of people really are stepping into that light, and you know, we just need to
That's
continue the
wonderful.
process and let your light shine too. I mean,
hmm
you know,
And
be the
speak
example
your
for the
voice.
next.
Yeah, speak your voice, and don't worry about. One of the hardest things that I had a problem with was worried about not what people would think about me, but whether they, well, I think there was some confidence issues when I first started writing. I wondered if this is the complete truth, because I want to do nothing but put the truth out there, and so
Right.
my ego says doubt yourself, and um, you just have to what you have to do is you just have to trust yourself, put the information out there, and watch the reaction. And when people really resonate, they'll let you know, and then you follow that thread and you take part of that and you keep going with what that's how you trust your own inner guidance to put out there what people need to hear. As a writer, that's the
Exactly.
best way I can describe it. And just I just want to tell everybody that you just can't go wrong by loving yourself and by supporting all of your friends, and giving everybody love right now is so important. To stay in your heart and not overthink things. I think we moved past the overthinking and over barrage of information. Now I think you can find it's really easy when you scroll down your Facebook wall what you want to click on and what you just let go. You don't even
Yeah.
read it anymore. It's
It's
gotten
just
that easy to feel
exactly.
something,
You
right?
just kind of feel it as it's coming up, and you kind of just tune it out. Unless I understand if you're in a role of an admin and you've got to take a
Yeah,
look
that's
at certain
different.
posts. But if you're scrolling down, exactly, if it doesn't resonate with you, you may give it at most a blip of a look of a thought, but there's so much going on now that you're right. You just kind of, your innate knows it, and you go on to what you want to resonate with. And that's, of course, why there's so many different posts, because different things resonate with different
Right.
people. You know what I mean? Otherwise, what would be the point in all this? And it's true. We just need to realize that, keep it simple and stay in that love vibration, and just think, love yourself. Don't mean any harm to anybody else. Don't think destructive thoughts, or try not to anyway. I know sometimes I let them.
Exactly. Watch your thoughts. And I just wrote an article about the
Yes.
Akashic records and the noosphere.
Hmm.
And the noosphere is the consciousness field around the planet that is composed of thoughts, and it is what the um, the Dracos and the reptilians, they can actually tap into that and feed. That's what a lot of the geometric buildings and cities and symbols and things are put in such patterns that they can actually tune into the noosphere and feed off of the negative thoughts that are there. Thoughts are energy. And if we can reduce the negative thoughts, we can starve them. That's one way that we can stop the black magic in keeping us from waking up. This is all tied together. The more that we can stop them now by not giving them our energy, the more that's going to help other people. So if we starve them, by the time they're out of the way, we take in our glorious light, we make our glorious transformation, and the more people that do this, it's like the 100th monkey effect. It allows more people to start waking up. So I'm not saying that all is lost. I'm saying that it's been thwarted quite a bit by the dark, and they've played a really good hand at this game, and we're going to trod forward. We're going to keep doing this because we know what to do. We're remembering how the game got set up. We remembered the risk that we took. Most of us are going to make it. That's most of us light workers are going to make it, but we want to help as many people as possible. You can't just yell it from the rooftops. You can't
Right.
yell at them, because it's just like when you've ever had an argument with your spouse. If you're yelling, they're not really listening to what you're saying. You have to relate to them. You have to. That's why I feel like my style of writing helps, because I'm telling stories and I'm allowing it to give them something to relate to. If you're a writer out there, try to take that approach. Um, Start your own radio show. Do whatever you can do. Now's the time. We can't wait any further. We've got a little bit more time to go here to bring as many people to the light to wake up as possible, because there are brothers and sisters. Imagine if we make it and we're sitting in the new earth and we're looking back at what happened. We were just a fraction away of waking up our Arcturian or our Pleiadian brother or sister that came with us on this mission but just got lost. We were just a fraction away. All we had to do was do one little thing, and they would have started the ball rolling on their mission. We don't want to get over there and have to think about who we didn't bring.
No. I'm getting queasy. I'm trying to imagine that situation. And there's a lot of people out there, are a lot of our brothers and sisters that are still in dwelling in the darkness of their life, and they need to realize and remember the light that they truly are and the love that they truly are, and waking up to that. And that's only going to happen by people paying it forward. Somebody was there for us, older
Mm-hmm.
people to talk to that have been through it, or not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily even older, but people that have been through it before we have. Just continue to pay it forward, and continue to, that lets your light continue to grow, and then that'll rub off on other people, and then they can rub off on other people, and this thing can just spiral out of control in a good way.
Mm-hmm. That's
It
how it
can just,
works. Everybody's
exactly.
doing a marvelous job. I mean,
They
we've
really
come
are.
so far.
So
We've come
far.
so far. And there are just some people that right now you just think it's impossible. I mean, my mother, for instance, she just doesn't want to hear any of it. She knows I have a radio show. She knows I have 2 websites,
Yeah.
2 Facebook pages, and she's not
Mm,
been on any of them. So,
right.
there's nothing else that I can say or do to her that's going to change her mind right now. I know there's events that are going to happen on the planet. We are
Hmm.
just gearing up for this, okay? Whether it's going
Exactly.
to be the economic collapse, whether it's going to be the Vatican, whatever it's going to be, there's going to be series of events that
A
will.
series of them, a ricochet event. They're like, it'll be a chain reaction, actually, probably.
Right, and it will get people to either a place of desperation to where they, whatever it is, their guides, angels are going to be there to help them, and they'll find us. They'll find our information. We just have to put it out there, and we have to be available for when this happens. So it's a tough job, people.
It
We're
really is.
doing a great job. It's tough, but we are the best of the best. We came
We are the
here to do
pioneers.
this.
Hell yeah, we are the pioneers. And sometimes, there's an old saying, it's hell being a pioneer. Because, but the stories that we're going to have to tell in the higher dimensions and in other existences are going to be epic. I mean, this is really an experience that people will be jealous of not being here for. And, and when we're telling it at that point, all the rough memories will remember it, but, it'll all be in a good way that we remember it. We won't think about a lot of the problems that we had, and
Right.
we will know that it was for an overall good. And I want to just touch real quick, Michelle, on like what you were saying about your mom, that relationship. I think a lot of us, not necessarily you, but when we start awakening, right, we get so excited and we just want to go overboard and try to, I know I certainly did, force
Oh,
information down people's throat,
absolutely.
and this is going on, that's going on. But then you find that you're just messing with their free will. Hey, back off a little bit, do your thing, give them love from a distance, be there if they have questions, be there for them. But if not, take it from somebody who had to learn the hard way, like me. Just ease
Oh,
up a
me
little bit.
too. Me too. I mean, here I am, trying to pump everybody up to do what they came here to do, but that doesn't mean to shove it down people's throats. There's a fine line you have to walk,
Yeah,
and the best thing you
big
can do
time.
right now is to ground yourself and work on yourself, because you're going to be needed when their world starts falling apart. Because
Yes.
part of what we've already been through is our world has fallen apart, and we've realized who
Yeah.
we are. Me personally have realized, oh my God, I'm a walk-in. I have a walk-in.
Hmm.
It's not something you want to go around telling everybody, because then they've kind of look
No.
at you a little strange.
Yeah, did you tell your mom that
So
one? No, I'm kidding. Oh yeah, I could just see my
no,
parents.
no. About as far as I got with her is about UFOs and extraterrestrials, and
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
you'd think
You're lucky you
that
got
that
that
would
far.
wake. Yeah, you'd think that that would wake somebody up enough to think that we're not the only people on humans on planets here in our universe. But
Hmm.
some people are so tired that it's just too much right now. But
It
believe
really
me,
is. Yeah.
their guides and this universe is working to get. That's what this whole extreme polarity is about. It's going to crumble.
Hmm.
It's not going to be pretty, but there will be help. We're not alone. That's the main thing. Not only are we not alone because our space brothers and sisters are right here with us in bodies. They just haven't realized it yet. But
Right.
we have an untold number of. I like the when you say quintillion and quadrillion,
A
and you
quadrillion,
start thinking in
quintillion.
those huge terms. That's
Yeah.
the kind of help we have out there.
Exactly. It's infinite and everything around us that we don't see the life. I mean, I must have been asked in the last 2 days, just out of the blue, well, how many ET races do you think are here? Or how many beings of this kind do you think are here? Somebody asked me, how many Pleiadians do I think are here? Somebody asked me, how many aliens are here? That's like asking, I couldn't even fathom to tell you with inner Earth, with the millions of dimensions. And how could you eat? I wouldn't even, I'm dumbfounded. I wouldn't even know where to start with answering that question. You
They're
know?
here. They just have to follow law. They drop thoughts and hints. We have to be aware.
Yes,
It's all everything. We know these things. It's just sometimes we get a little
exactly.
spiritual laziness, or we have fear
Hmm.
of coming out and actually standing in our power as angels or as high vibrational beings close to Creator.
Exactly. We
And so
wash it off as a nice thought,
mhm.
but oh, we never follow through with it,
There's enough,
and
Larry. There's been enough evidence in my existence in the last month to really push me forward. I don't know about you, but the evidence has just
I'm
come.
with you, partner. I'm with you, homegirl. Really, no, me too. Exactly, and it's been that way for a while, but it's really started to pick up with the synchronicities the last 2 months, the last month, like crazy. And Michelle, it's almost getting to the point, and I know with you too, it's like daily.
No,
I mean, daily, and it's not even
hourly.
just something hourly, really hourly.
Hourly.
You could really average it out at the very least on a slow day. You could average it out to hourly now, really, and I'm not even exaggerating.
I'm just giving all of my time to
Wow.
this. I mean, you've really got to figure out how much time you can dedicate to this. I mean, I'm now Greg has really worn off on me. Seriously, you and I are up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes, chatting back and forth or checking our. I'm writing as many
Right.
articles as I can. We have our radio show that takes hours of preparation and um, getting all the information about your guests because our guests have so much important stuff to share. And I'm just, it makes you so fulfilled when you can make
Yes.
that. We're poor as hell, but when
Yes.
we financially, but we are definitely wealthy in the spiritual realms. We are in abundance.
We are the new breed, I like to call it. I mean, really,
We're in
we are because
abundance.
you think about that too, Michelle. Like you're talking about, sometimes I'll hit you up, or you'll hit me up 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Hell, it don't matter what time. But then also, okay, with our posts and our research, like with your articles, once you're done with all that, even, I mean, it doesn't. You don't just post it, and I mean, you have to get that. We are our own PR machines too,
Mhm.
as far as getting this out to people.
Mhm.
And
I'm even have
just
like
the minutia.
I even have though I'm having website problems where now it seems that when I had to add some AdSense to my website to even bring in maybe $100 a month to try to help with
Right.
living expenses. And it now that I have added those ads and I have this like bar, this share and like bar, well, it's
Oh, good
causing
God,
my
yeah.
website to be over, like taking too long for everything to load. And so I'm
No.
having problems and I don't know how to do all this crap, but we're just trying to get
Yeah.
along
We're just
here. We're trying
trucking
to
along
trucking
here.
along, and we're going to run into these blocks, and it just you've just got to keep moving. That's really what I want to tell everybody. Just keep going. Fortunately, there's a person I can call and pay to optimize my website, so it will load properly so I can have a database of websites. This is a lot of hard work, but it's what we came here to do. It's not, these obstacles are not things that like for instance yesterday Greg's website was hacked by
Right.
spammers. he got 100,000 spammers before he
Good
went to
Lord.
post my article, and then the website server was having problems. Everybody who had dedicated servers were having problems. You just have to wonder how much of it is influenced by the dark beings as far as trying to take people's servers down, but without being paranoid or anything. These are just things that you have to get through and keep trucking.
Right.
And everybody out there that can hear me right now, I know that everybody has their difficulties, no matter what it is. We are having our difficulties to get
Yes,
through.
we are. Physically, mentally. Yeah, it's just really crazy because this happens and all these glitches take place. And I know that a couple of weeks ago, one of my other admins and Pleiadians, Jason Wilson, and Jane and I were trying to get on, and it took like 3 hours to get
Hmm.
the connection right. And it just, you know what, though? It seems like more and more we're trucking through it. We just keep space trucking, as Deep Purple would say. We just keep space trucking through it and get it done. I mean, I feel now that I don't find that I ever have any of those moments where I just say, "Ah, fuck it." You know what
No,
I
you
mean?
can't. We
We just
can't.
keep
We've
going.
done it. We've done it before, and sometimes you have to stop and take a break, but just keep going. We've got to keep going. And I want to end this segment with a quote from a reading that I had with a lady who's going to be on our show. The one that I told you was one of the most profound readings I've ever had, and
Right.
this is from either her guides or my guides or a conglomerate of guides, whoever it was from. It came out of her mouth, and this is what I'd like to share with everybody. When things get dense, be your spirit sense. Rise up and look down on it. So we always want to try to take the higher path, be the observer. I often in my articles say that this is a play, this is a game. Let's watch it from the upper balcony and only be down there on the stage when you need to and pull yourself back out, but yet you're still grounded. Don't forget to ground, because that's the trick. That's the trick, is just to be able to be the observer but be grounded at the same time, and know that we're going to get through this. We're going to do the best you can. That's all you can do.
Yep.
But
And
a
you
lot of people aren't doing the best that they can do right now. And so I'm kind of like the teacher with the ruler, like
you are
slapping the fist in a way. But on the other hand, I'm trying to be a cheerleader. I
right.
just was really shocked into a thought that if that is going to happen to where it's going to affect souls deeper than just losing their body, then we need to work at getting that information out there a little bit more. And there's really no way you can just yell it to people. It's just that when people do wake up, make sure you're there for them.
Exactly. And we came on here today understanding that it was about getting a message out, and
Mhm.
people can listen to this, and I hope that they really listen and give it some thought. And if not, maybe sometime down the road something that was said will strike them.
Mhm.
And if you don't get it together, you're going to find Michelle with a pom pom in one hand and a ruler in the other
That's
coming
right.
at you. But we just need to stand in our light and really understand that we are the help that we've been waiting for. We have all this power within us, and we
Oh
just need to
gosh,
really
yes.
understand. And it's not some big task like, oh well, you better go out and do telekinesis for 18 hours a day, or you better go do this or do that. I
Mm-mm.
mean, just start. It starts by just thinking about it.
Mhm. Mhm. And I
Even
want
on
to,
your worst terrible ascension day, a symptom day, you can think about these things.
yeah. Just bring yourself into a higher place of
Mm.
thinking and consciousness. And I want to thank you for allowing me
Thank
to rant
you.
today. And I
Exactly,
really,
the rant zone.
that's what this is going to be for, Pleiadian Talk Rant Zone.
You, you're tuned into the rant zone with
Yes.
Michelle Molly and Larry Locken. But Michelle, before we do go, of course, it wouldn't be cliche. Michelle, where can they find you on the World Wide Web and Facebook?
Well, you can find me on www.cosmicstarseeds.com, and there's a place to make a comment under any one of my articles. You can also find me on michellewalling.com, or you can friend me on Facebook, Michelle Walling, Michellewalling, or you can find me on the Cosmic Starseeds Facebook page, or you can find me on the Cosmic Awakening Show Facebook page. Any one of those places. I've put myself out there. I've dedicated my lives to you. If you have anything to say about this today that you'd like to share in a positive light, I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to write about it. And I look forward to our show tomorrow,
I do
Larry.
too.
Very
Joshua
much
Poe
so.
inside
From
First Contact
First
Radio.
Contact. I love that. I mean, that would be wonderful. I mean, we're already getting first contact. That's what we've been talking about this whole show is
Yeah.
individual first contact. But so how can everybody find you, Larry?
Well, it's funny you should ask, Michelle. People can find me, of course, at the Cosmic Awakening Show page. People can
Mm-hmm.
find me in the Pleiadians group, Mothership group, almost 25,000 strong now. They can also find me in my personal group, the Fringe Thinkers, as well as the Pleiadian Light Grid Project page, as well as Pleiadian Woodstock page, and about 16 different regional Pleiadian groups that I don't have time to go through now. But I think I've just about, except for Russia, I've got about the whole globe
Mm-hmm.
covered with regional Pleiadian groups. So they can find me anywhere out there, or just type in my name, Larry Locken. I'm the guy with the rainbow glow coming off of me, and
I love it.
yeah, and that's just how it goes, and you can find me out there. And before we go, I'd like to give a shout out to a few people. I'd like to give a real shout out to Greg Prescott for
Hi,
being able
baby.
to, hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
But you know, it was really great, and it ties into the synchronicity. So we really owe him a big debt of thanks for this, and well, just all our friends and Star family and Star brothers and sisters out there in
Tyler
Facebook land.
Beatabach. Hi, Tyler.
Tyler Beatabach, much love. Jason Wilson, much love. Leah
Yeah.
Shapiro, Marianne Rada, Sarah Brown.
Brown.
Yes, indeed, actually. So we just keep on going from there, and
Thank you for
we'll
your
see how it
dedication
goes.
and your light, Larry. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, sweetie, thank you so much, and that's a wrap.